president of Pluto.
Fire, man.
Desperado, many, my amigo, Balotelli, ladies taking me photo, paparazzi, Don Julio, Don Diami, Egumento, mi pestas aula, Azametra, Egumento, mi pestas aula, Azametra,
Don't get it twisted. Let God be my witness. Me and you not get to business. Don't take my kindness for weakness. Softly, you no go tear my singlet. Oh, boo, challenge. No, they joke with my percentage. No go give to Caesar. What belongs to Odogu? All this you at all. The money over their love. Money no like cha. Oh, no more feet, Gaza. All in no man abroad. Yeah, massa, mama. Now fish the chance you for your door.
Egumento, ni pestas aula, Azametra, Egumento, ni pestas aula, Azametra.
Good morning, Trend Trap Tribe. If you guys can hear me loud and clear, go ahead and drop some yeses inside the chat box. We're getting started here in the next couple minutes. So let's grab this link at the top of our screen and let everyone know that we are live. Day 5 and the final lesson here inside the Trend Trap Bootcamp, all indexed down below in the courses tab. Welcome and let's get started.
I don't come kilometers. I don't walk that many kilometers. Learn from the teacher. I don't take for the game, she no pitas. I decide bad mind from a distance. Not this sweet, happy, I love my pitas. Loguni Misha, show you the confirmer for your speaker. This time I call chopsticks for assistance. Show we they blow your mind, Afghanistan. Kilometers. I don't come kilometers. I don't walk that many kilometers. Learn from the teacher. I don't take for the game, she no pitas. I decide bad mind from a distance. Not this sweet, happy, I love my pitas. When you come, make I give you digits. When's the last time somebody did it like this? Too much ice on my bumper clappers. That's why everybody hating on me like Chris. Kilometers. I don't come kilometers. I don't walk that many kilometers. People think I be Johnny, just come. Like I just got rich, like my money just come. Send them back to where they come from. For talking like the product of a torn condom. Southside me come from, me not care, my brother. One side, sit down for one chair, my brother. Come try, me will make you disappear, my brother. Long time it takes to reach here, my brother. Kilometers. I don't come kilometers. I don't walk that many kilometers. Learn from the teacher. I don't take for the game, she no pitas. I decide bad mind from a distance. Not this sweet, happy, I love my pitas.
Welcome, Trend Trap Nation. If you guys can hear me loud and clear, go ahead and drop some $signs in the chat box. We're getting started here in the next 30 seconds. So let's grab this link. Let's blast it out inside of our chats, wherever that is, Discord, Telegram, iMessage, your website, whatever it is that your team is using to communicate. Let's make sure we're getting everybody plugged in here. 30 seconds. Come on.
Oh my God. Success is all I want. Yes, indeed. Oh, my luck, oh. Boutique bam, je vais les maçons. Boutique bam, je vais les matous. Then they break up all and stagger, so I'm moving cloak and dagger. Might see me in a black bandana, in a Lambo with Joey Zaza. Diamond teeth with a bucket full of rubber. No shirt, looking like a number rubber. Since I started, they carry my matter. No be now, we go scatter my dada. Boutique bam, she belle ma son.
All right. Good morning, and welcome back to another lesson here inside of the Trend Trap Bootcamp. Now, whether you're watching the recording or you're tuning in live, go ahead and drop some dollar signs in the chat box. If you can hear me, you can see me loud and clear. Let's go. Good to see you, Alex, in here. Gio Galland, Mervanwe Smith, Christina, Magdalena. Let's go. Amazing to have each and every single one of you guys here. And welcome back. If you've been on every single one of the Trend Trap Bootcamp series that are all saved down below in the courses tab, go ahead and drop the word bootcamp in the chat box. You see, this has been designed to walk you through each step of thinking, each step of confidence here inside using the Trend Trap strategy. On lesson 1, you learned all about the trend, how to identify market structure, and really answer the biggest question that most traders ask themselves: is the market uptrending or is the market downtrending? In lesson 2, we learned how to identify the zone, the area of price that's most likely to return back in the direction of the original trend, to not get faked out by the noise or the lower time frames, and to stick to the game plan using the Trend Trap strategy. And then step 3, the breakout, where we identify how we enter the markets and what targets we're looking for. And on Friday, the last lesson, lesson 4, was the shield. How in battle we use our shield to protect us, to live another day, to see another battle. Very similarly is risk management in trading, where we're using risk management to be able to survive, so that way we can actually thrive in the markets, because no one wins forever and no one wins consistently. There's not one strategy out there that's 100% accurate. So in those moments when you're wrong, you got to choose to have protection. You got to choose to have the shields. Now, if it's your first time here using Trend Trap, maybe you've never met me before in person, go ahead and drop the word new in the chat box. And if you've been plugged into the Trend Trap videos, and maybe you were following me for some years now and now starting to refollow me here inside of Jifu, go ahead and drop OG in the chat box. OG. Let's go. Well, welcome, Timo. Welcome, Mervanwe. Welcome, JD. Welcome, Magdalene. Amazing. Well, good to have you guys here. I'm excited for today's session because today's lesson is really powerful. Today, we're going to be going over the 24-month game plan, the vision that you need to have as not just a trader, but an entrepreneur. And if you just lock in with me for the next 24 months, it will change everything as long as you don't quit. Now, let me ask you a question. What if you gave the next 24 months your full focus, your full discipline, and your full attention? What if you stopped hopping from strategy to strategy, additional income stream opportunity to additional income stream opportunity, and instead committed to becoming self-sufficient steward of your capital? I genuinely believe that what it is that you're able to steward, God will be able to bless. And right now, as you begin your journey as a trader, you're going to be tested on what you are able to steward. And it's first going to be tested with a little bit. First, you're going to be tested with little, so that way you can be the multiplier of much. And most people, they have it all wrong when it comes to how this works. They think that just because they started in this program, that they're not going to have to go through a learning process, or they're just going to be able to copy the results of others. And while to a certain extent that's kind of true, and while you're here, you still have to go through the emotional process of change and implementing what we're teaching you but we can't update and install the emotional intelligence, the confidence, the clarity. That's something that has to be practiced. Just like at the gym, in order to build muscle, we got to do the reps. No matter if you're with a bodybuilder trainer or not, he could be or she could be as jacked as anyone could be, as jacked as Arnold Schwarzenegger. But just because you're working out with Arnold doesn't mean you're going to get his biceps right away. You still got to eat the protein. You still got to do the work. Everyone drop the work inside of the chat box. What we're going to be talking about on today's session is how you can get a roadmap and a game plan over the next 24 months, so that way you can get the results and also you can implement the work. So what would your life look like if you built something that didn't rely on hype, that didn't rely on handouts or anyone else to eat? What would your life look like? Today, we're not just wrapping up this boot camp. We're handing you a blueprint for the next 24 months to go from student to sniper, from confused to confident, from surviving to multiplying. So if you're ready, go ahead and drop the word ready in the chat box, and let's dive right into this today as we start with a short video to be able to explain this and depict this in visual terms. Now, maybe you're right here. You're in day 4, day 5 of your journey, partnered here with GFU as well as the Trend Trap strategy, and you just got started. And, you're neither here nor there. You're still trying to get the grasp of this entire thing. Maybe you don't know exactly what you should be doing or how you should be doing it, but you believe, okay, that in the beginning, your money's just going to go up. That in the beginning, you are just going to absolutely just take off from start to profits. And that's why most traders get it wrong. You see, the reality is that you started this business and you had to invest some capital. You had to go ahead and pay for access to this education. So immediately, you're actually starting out as an investment. Money is not going up. In fact, money is going down because you invested in yourself. Now, as you begin learning, that's also going to take place. Just because you're learning doesn't mean that you're automatically going to make more. In fact, in the learning process, you're more than likely going to have a rocky start. If you do win and you win big in the beginning, it's not because you're a natural at this. Let me just tell you, it's just beginner's luck, and it happens to all of us. And in fact, I think the markets do it on purpose, so that way you can have a false sense of confidence and then think as a beginner that, oh, this is easy. Why is everyone saying that this is not that easy? I got this. And then all of a sudden you add more money to your trading account and you lose that money because you weren't ready just yet. Most people, they believe that money goes up first, and it's actually the opposite. In anything that you do, knowledge increases in the positive direction while funds decrease in the negative direction. I mean, think about it. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, all of them increased their knowledge, but their money went down before they hit a certain point. And that certain point is what we're going to be talking about today. That's where I want to take you on this journey. But you're going to have to realize that you're going to go through a phase. You're going to go through a phase that is absolutely inevitable. And it is the phase where the birds get most people. And when I say the birds, it's when seeds are all across the field. Some seeds never fully turn into a tree because birds pick them out of the ground. The birds in this case scenario is the doubt, is the naysayers. It may be the family members that don't understand this and maybe don't believe in it as much as you do. It may be your partner, your wife, your husband. It might be your best friend. It may be yourself thinking and asking yourself if you're even good enough to be able to do any of this stuff. And at that moment, you're going to be entering the phase which is known as the trading is a scam phase. It's at the moment where your money is down, but your knowledge is up and you're just confused as to why it's not working just yet. For some people, this is 90 days, 180 days. For some people, it's 3/4 of a year. It took me 2 years to finally get to what's known as the turning point. And the turning point is when your knowledge is increasing and your knowledge is at an area where it absolutely is ready to be able to see success, but your money's still not in that direction, and you reach an area that starts to turn around. And all of a sudden, your knowledge in trading, this is known as divergence, when one thing is going in the opposite direction of the other and a breakout is imminent. You'll see across different educators or strategies that you may have watched, divergence is when maybe your RSI says overbought, but the trend is at a downwards trend, right? Or upwards trend. That's when it actually begins to turn. And the turning point for each and every single individual on this call is a different time. But when that turning point happens, you go from negative to positive, your knowledge increases, and now you begin seeing results in the market. Now it starts all paying off. And when that happens, you're going to reach a point where others are going to say that it is what? Others are going to say, man, how did you learn this? How did you get to this point? The trend trap strategy is not working for me. How is it working for you? And when those two paths intersect, people are going to assume that you're a natural. People are going to assume that you're just really good at this. And they're going to say that it is what? It's a 4-letter word, and the word is luck. How many people do we see that are successful and we just charge it off as luck? Oh, this guy just got lucky. He was at the right place at the right time. She was just raised by parents that may have done that. Everyone, no matter what, has to go through this journey. And I want to explain to you what this journey looks like and how you cannot get stuck in this phase right here, charge it off and quit like 90% of people do. Go ahead and drop some yeses in the chat box if you're with me. Lesson 5 is known as the vision. Lesson 5 is known as the vision. And let me just go ahead and fix this here because it's on the wrong one. And the vision is very simple. The vision is the ability to what? The ability to operate from a place that you're currently not, but know that you're going. One of the most sad things in life is having sight but no vision. Vision is a place that leaders operate from. They're never depressed. They're never have anxiety, because anxiety only exists and depression only exists in a person's mind that thinks their current circumstances are their destiny. And it's usually caused from the denial of one's purpose. Meaning, if you know you're meant for more, but you don't do anything more, you're going to have depression. It's very clear. If you know that you need to be successful in this, but you keep blowing your account and breaking the rules, you're going to have anxiety in the markets. But if you operate from a place of the future, leaders don't operate from the present, they operate from the future. And I want you to position yourself right now in the future and understand that most people quit. All you got to do is don't be most people. The fact of the matter is, if I were to Google online right now, it's going to tell me that 90% of traders quit. And the reason why is because they want fast, but you want freedom. They want to chase highs, but you build wealth. They blame the strategy, the platform, the person who invited them here. You build. What I can guarantee you is that if you stay for 24 months, you jump on these sessions and you decide to really take this seriously, you will never look at money the same again. Everyone drop $signs in the chat box. You will never look at money the same again. Now, the foundation is built. You already have done what 99% of traders already never do. You understand the trend. You can label zones with clarity. You know how to wait for the breakout, and you've mastered risk management in not application, but in practicality. You understand the importance of it, but now you actually got to do it. That was your training camp. But what you do next is what separates a trader, a regular trader, an analysis trader, the weather forecaster trader, to an actual wealth builder. And in order to do so, you got to have some vision. So here's my vision for you. My vision is for you to become a self-sufficient trader, to be able to learn to multiply capital without relying on hype or an NFP day, to be able to build long-term wealth through day trading, crypto, and passive plays that you're going to learn throughout our educational platform, to be able to master your psychology, process, and pace in which you're actually growing. You see, we're not here for dopamine hits. We're here for dominion. And dominion means being able to manage and multiply what it is that we currently have. That has been our assignment since the Garden of Eden. That's been our assignment, dominion. Everyone drop the word dominion in the chat box. Dominion means to be able to take control and to multiply, to be able to manage well. And in order to do that, we got to get really, really clear on what our goals are and what this is supposed to look like. You see, in your first 90 days of being partnered with us, this is where you lock in. You rewatch the boot camp. You show up to 3 to 5 live streams a week. Right after this session, you should lock it into your calendar with a reminder to be able to attend these sessions. You mark up your chart. You journal every setup, win and loss, and you trade only, everyone drop the word only the trend trap setups. Now, it's not because I believe that my strategy is the only strategy that works, but since you decided to choose to watch the boot camp, you don't need multiple different perspectives of the market. Just like a boxer has one coach in his corner, very similarly, you want to be the same. You want to have one strategy that you're looking for. Because technically, you can see all strategies on the same chart. If I was trained, which I am, in multiple different strategies, I see them all, but I don't listen to any other one but Trend Trap, because that has been the one that's helped me break through and get to that turning point. Now, your goal as we finish this boot camp up is to log 50 winning trades on demo before graduating to what's known as a live account. A demo account is fake money, real markets. It's a forgiving place where you can implement the strategy and begin building confidence before your real money is in the markets. And the emotions involved with live trading are present. I teach something called the Fire Drill Workshop, and maybe you'll see it at one of the next upcoming events or conventions, or in-person meetings or Zoom trainings that you'll be able to jump on. But I teach something that teaches the importance of practicing without pressure. Think of the demo account not like a Monopoly game that you're supposed to rush through so you can get to the real money, but think of it as the free throw line that Michael Jordan spent hours and hours and hours at to be able to refine his skills and be ready for game day. Think about it as the soccer field in which Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo spent thousands of hours when nobody was there, nobody was in the stands, nobody was booing or cheering, but they were refining their muscle memory. They were practicing without pressure. So in the moment that pressure is present, when there's a crowd full of booing fans, or where there's people in the bleachers with Michael Jordan's game making noise to try to distract him, he's able to cut through the noise and execute just like he practiced on those days when nobody was watching and when nothing was at risk. It is the same on a demo account. Being able to practice without pressure enables you to operate under pressure, just like a fire drill. When you were a kid, you practiced fire drills in school, and most of us didn't take it seriously. Thank God, hopefully, you didn't have to experience a fire, because you may not have even, known what to do with yourself. But the fact of the matter is, you would have. Because they did fire drills periodically and they guided you. Whether you were talking with your friends and you weren't even paying attention, the fact of the matter is that you did it. And in the event of an emergency, your subconscious mind would have called on what you learned in that moment, and you potentially would have had life-saving decisions in a fraction of a second because you practiced without pressure. And now that the pressure is present, you know what to do. Your goal in phase months 1 to 3, isn't money, it's mastery. You're not trading to get rich yet, you're trading to get right. You need to understand why we trust our strategy, why we journal every setup, and what is a winning trade. So you're probably asking, Jay, what's a winning trade? Because winning in life means I took home the medal, I took home the prize. If my goal isn't profits just yet, then what is my goal? My goal is to learn the difference between what's winning and losing in trading. A winning trade is your 1% stop loss being hit. That is a winning trade. But Jay, I just lost money. How is that a winning trade? Well, I need you to think of it a little bit differently. If you were to call yourself a loser for protecting your capital, that would make you think that being a loser is not correct. If you were losing a trade setup and you believe that, man, I suck at this, you would not put a stop loss because you think that that's actually losing, when in fact, protecting your capital, being able to identify when you're wrong and be able to cut your losers short is a winning trader's action. So flip your mentality. A winning trade is your 1% stop loss being hit. A winning trade is a trade going into profit and then maybe turning around and now becoming what's known as break even. A winning trade is a small win where maybe you're in profit and your trade's going in the right direction and you want to close out before the market changes, the market rollover from New York to Asia, from Asia to London. Maybe you don't want to go to sleep on a trade. You're still developing that confidence. You're going to close out. Maybe you're up 1.5%. You're just going to take that W and live to see another day. Trade to see another day. And maybe that winning trade is a big win, like what we had last week with USD CAD and USD CHF that ended up becoming 1 to 5 and 1 to 8 risk to rewards, where now your winning percentage is 5% and 8%, completely doubling and tripling what a 3% trade may have looked like. So I need you to change your mentality from what is losing to what is winning, because losing in the world outside of trading is not the same as losing in the world of trading. In fact, there's this book that's called The Best Loser Wins. Talk about the irony, the contradiction. But it's true. In trading, the best loser wins. Everyone drop phase 2 inside the chat box. Phase 2 is month 4 to 9, when you're going deeper and you're building consistency. At this phase, known as the refinement phase, you start to see patterns before they form. You begin applying what you've learned, not just to intraday trades, but also now larger swing trades where you're able to identify daily highs and daily lows and take trades for 1, 2, 3 days at a time. You log your wins and your losses in your psychology. You start being the leader in the chats. You start posting your analysis daily inside of your communities. You're back testing on the weekends. You're leveling up. But most importantly, you're starting to develop your emotional intelligence. This is what's known as the test phase. Can you follow process over profit? Can you stay in rhythm through drawdowns? This is where most people quit, right here, within their first 90 to 180 days. This is where they quit because they think that they should be killing it already, but not you. You understand that your goal is to find your rhythm and to stay emotionally neutral. Now, month 10 to 18, as you close in on your first year, here inside of this skill. Now, let me just make something very clear. People go to school for 2 years for an associate's degree, a 2-year college degree that allows them general education. Then they go to school for 4 years to get a bachelor's degree or a 4-year university degree that usually qualifies them to some sort of professional fields. And then if you want to get expertise in a specific area, you're now getting what's known as a master's degree or a 6-year degree. And if you want to be an expert, a specialized knowledge, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, it's usually 6 to 12 years, depending on what route that you choose. A doctor, on average, in America at least, makes around $250,000 a year, okay? And they go to school 12 years, 10 years before they make $1 to do it. Do you think that the skill of trading is a specialized knowledge skill? Do you think someone that unlocks trading unlocks the same monetary freedom that maybe a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer unlocks? I do. Actually, I know, right? I know. And how do I know? Because I'm living proof of it. So I need you to understand that it's not about the quickness. I'm giving you a 2-year fast track to a 12-year expertise that society would compare it to. Lock in and understand. Month 10 to 18 in your first year is when you start scaling with skill. And now it gets fun. You've proven to yourself that you can survive. That's all you're doing in the first year, proving to yourself that you can manage little so that way you can be rewarded with much. And now we start to multiply. You start increasing your lot sizes. You start building your trading plan throughout your day, which days are best for you. You start involving yourself in cryptocurrency and diving deeper into market structure and crypto liquidity cycles, understanding the money flow, not just here in day trading in the foreign exchange markets, but now also watching people like Curtis Cobain to be able to understand how money flows, not just in this financial market, but in the financial markets. You know how to self-correct yourself. You don't flinch at volatility, you surf it. And you start trading like a business and not a beginner. In month 24, 19 to 24, you're now in the ownership phase. This is where it all clicks. You're not just relying on me anymore. Now I am a staple part of your trading analysis, and able to bounce ideas back and forth, but you're now using it to refine and not survive. You start developing others inside of your group. You start diversifying into DeFi, long-term plays, and income-producing assets. You start to integrate systems that work. And most importantly, you're finally a self-sufficient steward of your capital. You begin to lead, mentor, and multiply others at a way bigger scale than what you were doing previously. But here's the hard truth. Most people won't make it here. They'll quit after one bad trade. They'll get emotional, impatient, and inconsistent. But if you stay for 24 months, you'll never see money the same again. You'll never trade the same again. And before you know it, you're no longer chasing the bag. You control it. So today I want you to plant your flag. I want you to make the decision to commit to this 24-month game plan, to identify where you are right now and commit to 3 to 5 live sessions a week, to share your goals in the community and lock in a 2-year vision of financial sufficiency. This isn't just a trading strategy anymore. This is a lifestyle of stewardship, and it is only the beginning. This may be the end of the boot camp, but it's the beginning of your real journey. You've been given the system, you've been given the vision, and now you build with consistency and become a real asset in the market. Let's trade, let's lead, and let's build a wealth that lasts. Everyone drop yes in the chat box if you agree and you're ready for what this next 2 years has in store for you. Drop yes and you're ready for what the next 12 to 24 months have in store for you. Now, most people, what ends up happening is they say yes, and then they let the birds get them. And the reason why I stress that so much is in the last 7 years of me doing this, I have fallen in love with the potential of people more than they've fallen in love with the vision that they have for themselves. And I don't want that to happen to you. The facts is that most people, they allow life to get to them. I am a human being. I go through life as well. Things happen. Family members pass. Situations happen that just rock your world. But in those moments, that is another test to see if you're worthy of the vision that God has given you. And if you've gotten a vision to be able to say, hey, I want to be self-sufficient in my finances, if I want to be self-sufficient in my trading, in my life, I need to not allow anything in life to get me off course. If you agree, drop I agree in the chat box. We're going to go ahead and look at a couple different markups for the week here. Our green pairs, which are known as our pairs that move with least volatility. And I'm going to go over which pairs you should be trading for your first few months. Now, Jan has a question in the chat box. He said, Jay, if risk is correct and if you follow steps by educator for copy pasting trades, would you consider taking funded accounts? I don't think you should do funded accounts until you know how to manage money yourself, personally. If you can't manage your own account, then it's kind of like I just said, if you can't be trusted with little, why would you go for much? Why would you go for much? You want to be able to manage what you have before it is that you start taking on something that you don't have, especially when the thing that you don't have is not yours, right? So let's make sure that we're focusing on what's at hand. I am not against funded accounts if you are already trading profitably on your own account, okay? And that's just the fact of the matter. So let's look at this here together. Last week, we looked at what's known as the dollar index. Now, the dollar index is currently in what's known as a downtrend. We rejected the daily high last Monday, and we made it all the way back down, or 2 Mondays ago, excuse me, and we made it all the way almost back down to this daily low. The market made a lower low. This was our previous lower high, and we reacted at previous levels of support. Now we're going to ask ourselves, where can this market react at and continue in the downtrend? So if step 1 is the trend and step 2 is the zone, we're going to drop down to the 1-hour chart and look for the closest level of support near where current price is. So here's current price. I look up to the left. I notice this support and this support. Those are almost pretty equal. So what I'm going to do is take a rectangle and I'm just going to draw it to the most touches right there. Notice this is touching this, 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 and this. So I'm going to undo that line chart, identify the last support candle, and here I found it. I'm going to choose this one right here. That is the last support candle that gave me that zone. And here I have my next zone and where I'm looking for a possible pivot back to the downside. I'm going to round this to the nearest quarter level. This is going to be 99,350. And I'm going to pull this up and grab a secondary support level a little bit higher up here based off this one over here. This is going to give me two possible zones that the market can react at before possibly going to a uptrend, where if the market breaks above, okay, pay very close attention, if the market breaks above after making a new lower low, this is my new lower high, this is now my break of structure point, where if the market goes above this, I'm now looking for uptrend moves in the markets. Drop some dollar signs if that makes sense. So on the dollar index, we're looking for a pullback, a retracement. This is known as the wave, and we're looking for the tide to take back over. Now, as this market goes up, I want to cover something called correlation with you. I talked about it on the last lesson, and I told you guys I would explain it here, okay? This is what's known as the US dollar index. This is the strength of all cumulative dollar pairs. This gives you the strength of the dollar, okay? Now, if the USD is going up, okay, then any pair that starts with USD should also be equal, meaning it should also be going up. And any pair that starts with the opposite of USD and it ends in USD is known as the inverse and should be the opposite. So for instance, if I'm looking at US dollar and this pair is going down in this scenario, I should see downtrends on USD JPY and USD CHF, which we do. This means it's correlating with the dollar. You guys see this? Everything is correlating. However, if I see that the US dollar is going down and this other pair starts with a different pair, okay, or financial asset like AUD USD, that means it should be going the opposite. It should be going up because the dollar is going down. Let's check it out. It is. See the inverse correlation? It's going up. So very similarly, now we should be looking for buys on gold because the dollar is downtrending. Now, not all the time will these markets be correlating perfectly. Sometimes the dollar will be in a downtrend and USD CAD will be in an uptrend. At that moment, all things equal, pay very close attention to this. All things equal, let's just say I have the dollar in an uptrend and USD CAD's in a downtrend and USD CHF is in an uptrend. Both of them give me 5 out of 5 setups. Which setup should I take? This is what's called confluence. If everything is equal, but both of them are in different directions, I take the trade that's matching in correlation with the dollar. Okay? That is a little bit of a tip for you guys. If all things are equal and USD CAD activates, and let's just say it's in a downtrend, but this is actually in an uptrend, and USD JPY activates, and it's in an uptrend matching the US dollar index, I'm going to take the US JPY pair, both of them activated, but I'm going to take the one that's correlating because I have the wind at my back. I'm now trading not just in the direction of the trend, but now I'm trading in the direction of correlation. And you're going to see time and time again of how vital and how much of an important role that actually plays. So let's start from scratch really quickly and just mark up a new pair. We haven't marked up this pair yet, and it's called silver, okay? Now, silver is a commodity very similar to gold. It is a high, fast-paced, volatile moving pair. On the right-hand side, you're going to see green. These green pairs is what you should be trading as you develop the consistency and confidence and begin becoming profitable on not just demo, but also your live account. Once you are doing that, you can open yourself up to the yellow or the orange pairs. These are faster moving pairs in the foreign exchange markets that move hundreds of pips in a single day. Very similarly to these red-based pairs. These red-based pairs are what's known as indices and commodities. Brokers have higher spreads on these pairs, and they're a little bit more difficult to trade because they move so quickly, and when you get something wrong, oh, you're going to pay for it, especially if you don't have emotional control. This is very easy to blow your trading account, meaning lose all your money in your trading account if you take off your stop loss on gold and you keep doubling down on orders because you haven't understood risk management yet. Let me save you from that pain and suffering, because I've actually done that already, right? And let me just tell you, stick to the green pairs, okay? So let's mark this up together. First, we have our daily high. Current price is here, 2 candles stopped over here, daily high. Then down here, we have our daily low. I'm not going to choose this one here because it's really close to that one right there. Then we go to the 4-hour chart. We identify, are we in an uptrend or downtrend? Over here on the left-hand side, I notice this high is higher than this high, and it's higher than this high. This is what's known as my higher high. Remember, I'm looking from right to left, so I'm looking at the last 3 highs and lows. This one didn't break above, so this is not a higher high, meaning this is not a higher low. So I have to ask myself, where did this higher high start? Price stopped here at this moment. Remember what we said? How many candles does it need to stop at in order for it to be a actual higher high, higher low? We said anywhere from 4 to 6 candles. Price stopped here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours at this level, okay, on Wednesday, and then decided to go up. So I'm going to ask myself this question. Did the market retrace 38.2% from this low to this high where green is? And the answer is no. So I am not going to count this as what's known as a higher low. I now look to the lower one down below. That's my higher high. That's my lower low over here. And this was my lower high, which satisfied the break of structure with this right here. So are we in an uptrend or downtrend, ladies and gentlemen? Drop it in the chat box. If you said uptrend, you're 100% correct. We now go to the 1-hour chart and we look for previous resistance to become support. Let's go over to our line chart. Let's identify some resistance. Well, I see this resistance. I see this. I see this. I see this. I see this. Remember, I'm just looking for peaks. I'm looking for this. So let's see which ones match. Well, this one matches pretty nicely. And then I got one down here. Switch back over to this, which is a candlestick chart, Japanese candlestick chart. I'm going to delete those circles. I'm going to find the last candle, and I'm going to draw my zone to it. Here. Now notice, this is where price tapped on Thursday. This is where price just tapped Friday. This is really close to the daily high. 46 pips close. So in a perfect world, I'm actually not looking at this level. It's too close to the daily high. I'd either want what? I'd either want the market to pull back down here to give me a better setup, or open and close above this daily level where it now becomes the floor, and this is the area where I'm looking for buys. I'm going to drop a price label on both of these, closest to the nearest quarter level, so 700. And I'm not really looking for this as a trade, but I can watch it for a reaction, and it's 33,150. I set my alert at this level, and I wait for the market to notify me on my phone that it is there. Tomorrow, we'll be back to scheduled programming here with our live analysis. I'll be going over the markets detail by detail, analysis by analysis, to give you the best setups so you can take high probability trades in the direction of the trend. Now, your goal is to go and implement this. If you're brand new, open up a demo account with a regulated broker of your choice, okay? Go in there and get ready. Mark up your analysis. Execute when you get the 5 out of 5 setups. Don't hesitate on these and be able to actually get that action. Once you start seeing consistency, you graduate to a live account, and from there you follow the 24-month game plan. I am so excited for you to be here, part of the Trend Trap Nation. Execute on these steps and really learn market structure and not be fully dependent on a tool or a system, but more so on your emotional control. Now, in the next couple months, if you guys are watching this recording, maybe it's out already, or maybe in the next weeks, we will be working and releasing what's known as the Trend Trap Scanner. This will be your final confirmation for all your trades. Right now, we have a really good prototype that's being back tested, and we don't want to rush this because it matters for each and every single one of you guys. I'm looking forward to being able to have a system in terms of a tool for you to be able to partner your analysis with, kind of like a GPS to partner your direction mentality with, so you can be able to grow and you can be able to implement this at another level. Thank you for choosing Trend Trap, and thank you for choosing me as your guide through these streets of the market. I'm going to help you become confident, develop clarity, and become consistent as a trader, just like I've already done for thousands of people around the world. You're exclusively watching Trend Trap Pro, partnered with GFU, and welcome to the other side. I'll see you guys on the live sessions. Set your calendars, set your alerts, and remember, take the best, leave the rest. Let's go.